Welcome back to the Bible reading for beginners, where beginners can come together and read all about the Bible and learn all about God's goodness. Man, hey man, first and foremost, man, welcome everybody to the channel, man. Welcome everybody to the channel. I don't care if you stumbled up on the channel. I don't care if you already been on the channel. I don't care if you just, just searched something and I popped up. Man, welcome to the channel, man. And if you don't mind, first and foremost, let's get the first order of business out the way. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Ep2 They Left a YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the Ep2 They Left a YouTube channel. That way you can stay up to date on all new videos, lives, shorts. I will be dropping content consistently on YouTube exclusively. And speaking of, for the ones that's been asking, they've been asking and asking for the gratitudes. The gratitudes, you know we are going to be doing the daily gratitudes to end the year off right. So the whole month of December, gratitudes will be taking place. I'm telling you now, at 5 a.m. every single morning. 5 a.m. every single morning, the month of December. So make sure you're there. I'm telling you, it's a whole different energy. It's a whole different delivery. It's a whole different everything. I'm telling you, like, whew, I wish I can describe to you how good it's gonna be. But you gonna see, man. You gonna see in a minute. But long story short, man, I just want to make sure I tap bases with everything like that. And just to give a brief description before we get started. Like I said, the Bible reading for beginners is a place where beginners can come together and read the Bible and learn all about God's goodness. And so it's just a place where no matter your background, no matter your age, ethnicity, your, anything like that, you can come here and have a safe place where you can read with us. You can read along with me. You can read later. But what we do is we read like 2 chapters a day. We read 2 chapters a day. After we read those 2 chapters, I'll state like two to 3 things that maybe stood out to me. And then I also state maybe 2 or 3 things that I may have questions about. And that's where you come into the whole scenario. Is you can help me out, because in the comment section you drop down like what's the 2 to 3 things that stood out to you, or what's 2 to 3 things that you got questions on, or you may have the answers to my questions. You may be the one that can help me out for things that I don't understand, and I ain't gonna lie, I don't know if I'm the best person to help you out, but I can definitely help you read, and that's what we doing. Because the more we read, the more we understand. And the reason I'm gonna tell you my personal reason I'm reading. Well, one of them, because there's so many reasons I would read, but the reason I'm reading, because man, I look at the Bible. It is the light. You know what I'm saying? It is the knowledge, and I want to be filled with knowledge. So I know that I'm gonna need it. I need it with everything I do, and I don't want to do anything without it. So that's what I do it for. So hey, that's enough of that. We're gonna pick up from where we left off at yesterday. And for the ones that's catching up, yesterday was our first day, so we started out in Genesis. We read chapter 1 and 2. So today we're gonna start in chapter 3 in Genesis chapter 3. So feel free to come along with us, okay? So chapter 3. The man and woman sinned. The serpent was the shrewdest of all the wild animals the Lord God had made. One day he asked the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat the fruit from any of the trees in the garden?" "Of course, we may eat fruit from the trees in the garden," the woman replied. "It's only the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden that we are not allowed to eat. God said you must not eat it or even touch it. If you do, you will die." "You won't die," the serpent replied to the woman. "God knows that your eyes will be open as soon as you eat it, and you will be like God, knowing both good and evil." The woman was convinced. She saw that the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious, and she wanted the wisdom it could it would give her. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it too. At that moment, their eyes were opened, and they suddenly felt shame at their nakedness. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. When the cool evening breezes were blowing, the man and his wife heard the Lord God walking about in the garden. So they hid from the Lord God among the trees. Then the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" He replied, "I heard you walking in the garden, so I hid. I was afraid because I was naked." "Who told you that you were naked?" the Lord God asked. "Have you eaten from the tree whose fruit I commanded you not to eat?" The man replied, "It was the woman you gave me who gave me the fruit, and I ate it." Then the Lord God asked the woman, "What have you done?" "The serpent deceived me," she replied. "That's why I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all animals, domestic and wild. You will crawl on your belly, groveling in the dust as long as you live, and I will cause hostility between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will strike your head, and you will strike his heel." Then he said to the woman, "I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you." And to the man he said, "Since you listened to your wife and ate from the tree whose fruit I commanded you not to eat, the ground is cursed because of you. All your life you will struggle to scratch a living from it. It will grow thorns and thistles for you. Through you will eat of its grains. By the sweat of your brow, by the sweat of your brow will you have food to eat, until you return to the ground from which you were made. For you were made from dust, and to dust you will return." Paradise lost, God's judgment. Then the man Adam named his wife Eve, because she would be the mother of all who live. And the Lord God made clothing from animal skins for Adam and his wife. Then the Lord God said, "Look, the human beings have become like us, knowing both good and evil. What if they reach out, take fruit from the tree of life, and eat it? Then they will live forever." So the Lord God banished them from the Garden of Eden, and he sent Adam out to cultivate the ground from which he been made. After sending them out, the Lord God stationed mighty cherubim to the east of the Garden of Eden, and he placed a flaming sword that flashed back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. Cain and Abel, chapter 4. Cain and Abel. Now Adam had sexual relations with his wife, Eve, and she became pregnant. When she gave birth to Cain, she said, "With the Lord's help, I have produced a man." Later she gave sticking together because it's a brand new. Okay, I picked up. Later she gave birth to his brother and named him Abel. When they grew up, Abel became a shepherd, while Cain cultivated the ground. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of the crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but he did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected. "Why are you so angry?" the Lord asked Cain. "Why do you look so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right, but if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master." That's good too. One day Cain suggested to his brother, let's go out into the fields. And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Afterward, the Lord asked Cain, where's your brother? Where's Abel? I don't know, Cain responded. Am I my brother's guardian? But the Lord said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed and banished from the ground, which has swallowed your brother's blood. No longer will the ground yield good crops for you, no matter how hard you work. From now on, you will be a homeless wanderer on the earth. Cain replied to the Lord, my punishment is too great for me to bear. You have banished me from the land and from your presence. You have made me a homeless wanderer. Anyone who finds me will kill me. The Lord replied, no, for I will give a sevenfold punishment to anyone who kills you. Then the Lord put a mark on Cain to warn anyone who might try to kill him. So Cain left the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Okay, the descendants of Cain. Cain had sexual relations with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then Cain founded a city, which he named Enoch, after his son. Enoch had a son named Arad. Arad became the father of Mehuyel. Mehuyel became the father of Methuselah, and Methuselah became the father of Lamech. Lamech married two women. The first was named Adah, and the second was Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal, who was first of those who raised livestock and lived in tents. His brother's name was Jabal, the first of all who played the harp and flute. Lamech's other wife, Zillah, gave birth to a son named Tubal Cain. He became an expert in forging tools of bronze and iron. Tubal Cain had a sister named Naamah. One day, Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, listen to me, you wives of Lamech. I have killed a man who attacked me, a young man who wounded me. If someone who kills Cain is punished 7 times, then the one who kills me will be punished 77 times. The birth of Seth. Adam had sexual relations with his wife again, and she gave birth to another son. She named him Seth, for she said, God has granted me another son in place of Abel, who Cain killed. When Seth grew up, he had a son and named him Enosh. At that time, people first began to worship the Lord by name. Okay. All right. Well, man, it was a lot going on in this. I ain't gonna need. We still in just Genesis, but I ain't gonna lie, it was a lot going on, and 2 to 3 things that stood out to me. Man, woo! It was a lot of drama, first and foremost. It was a lot of drama. It was a lot of woo. Hold on. Let me just go to the first thing that stood out to me. Oh, this one stood out to me the most. When it said, when the cool evening breezes were blowing, the man and his wife heard the Lord God walking about in the garden. So they hid from the Lord God among the trees. That part stood out the most to me. And it wasn't about them hiding out in the trees. It's about when they said they could hear the Lord God walking. I'm like, boy, I can only imagine what that sound like, just to hear like God walking. Man, that gotta sound like, woo, that's scary. I probably would have hid too. I don't care if I didn't do nothing wrong. I probably still would have hid like, oh man, what have I done? I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you think of his feet, like when you think of God, you think of, you know, like humongous, like above all, like, you know what I'm saying? Alpha and Omega, beginning and ending. So it's like, you know, he gotta be like the biggest thing ever. So if you hearing him walk, man, it probably sounded like, woo. worse than the movie theater. You know what I mean? So you know it is worse than that. I just used that as an analogy, but that was one of the things that stood out to me was hearing God walking. The next I would say, let's see. Oh, okay. I was gonna say when he tried to blame the woman, but that's common. So a lot of people say that, but I would say the other thing is that stood out to me. Even though they was wrong, it said the Lord God made clothing from animal skins for Adam and his wife. So even though they did do wrong, he still loved them though, man. And cause it's like he was like, okay, y'all messed up, but I'ma still make y'all some clothes and everything. So he made clothes from animal skin for Adam and Eve, even after they messed up. So I was like, so Lord God, he still cares and he still loves his children. So he still took care of them, even though they was out of pocket. You know what I mean? And let me see. This was the third thing that stood out to me was when he said, the Lord replied, "No, for I will give a sevenfold punishment to anyone who kills you." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain to warn anyone who might try to kill Cain. So it's like, there you go again. Even though Cain did wrong, it's like the Lord God, he still looked out for Cain in a way, because it's like, so you mean to tell me you don't want to get no get back? You don't want nobody else to get no get back, even though he killed Abel. He was like, nah. He was like, because if anybody touch Cain, I'ma kill them. He said, I give them a seven. He said if anybody kills Cain, they get a sevenfold punishment. And so it's like, man, he gonna punish the person that punished Cain, even though Cain punished Abel. And it's crazy. It's like a different type of love affair. And it's like, even though you might do wrong, he still love you. You know what I'm saying? So those was the 2 to 3 things that stood out to me. Now, the things that I got questions about. Now, this is something I definitely had a question about. When it said, so the Lord God banished them from the Garden of Eden and sent Adam out to cultivate the ground from which he had been made. Where is the Garden of Eden? I mean, I'm going to just be honest. This is the Bible reading for beginners. So I'm going to just be honest. I don't know where it is. If you know where it is, let me know. I want to know, like, okay. And then also it was an area where he said he put was it flashing rods or something like that in front of the tree of life. And yes, the other question I had, it said, and he placed a flaming sword and flashed back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. Where's this Garden of Eden? And is this flaming sword that flashed back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life? Is it still here somewhere? Man, if you got some of these answers right here, man, that'll be so saucy, man. I'm talking about, whoa, that's deep. But, man, hey, man, again, I thank y'all so much for coming today. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow night. And we're going to do the same thing all over again. Because, like I said, man, this is Bible reading for beginners. Nighttime Bible reading for beginners. I apologize. I've been saying it wrong the whole time. But, yes, it's nighttime Bible reading for beginners. And make sure that y'all drop y'all comments down below. Drop them. I'm talking about drop it like it's high. You know what I mean? Drop your comments below. Write down the things that stood out to you. The 2 to 3 things that stood out to you. The 2 to 3 things that you may have questions about. And I'm sure sooner or later, somebody's going to definitely answer your questions, man. But, hey, man, as always, man, I thank y'all again. Y'all have a great day.